All right, from today we are starting the revision and actually discussion of the syllabus. Since the syllabus is already completed. So let us start with the first lesson, which was the in the first year syllabus, the stories, the three stories, the postmaster, the selfish giant, and the country of the blind. So is there anybody who would like to make a presentation on the postmaster or summarizing the story? Is there anybody who remembers or can you recap what we have learned? I told you to come prepared for some kind of oral test. जितने स्टूडेंट्स अपना कैमरा ऑफ किए हुए हैं इन लोगों को निकाल दिया जाएगा रूम से. So आपके लिए अच्छा बेहतर होगा कि keep your cameras on. If you don't want to be removed from the classroom, it is compulsory that you keep your cameras on. चलिए, कोई है जो प्रेजेंटेशन देना चाहता है पोस्ट मास्टर पे? Yes. आज तो पढ़ के आना था आप लोगों को ना टेस्ट के लिए. फिर raise your hands. Those who will be making a presentation, they will be getting marks today. और क्वेश्चन किसी से पूछा जा सकता है. I can ask questions, any questions with anybody. All right, let us start with Saurabh Kumar. So what do you know about the postmaster?
The postmaster story was written by Rabindranath Tagore, who was born in Kolkata also. This story was about the period at which the East India Company has needed a postmaster to send the letters and read the letters of the people who live in the village Ulapur. Yeah, Ulapur. So the village is very small, and no one of that village is literate. Even they don't know how to read and how to write. There is a small girl whose name is Ratan in this story. The postmaster has shifted had sent to that village and as a postmaster, and the girl whose name is Ratan, she was an orphan, and she do everything of that all the works of that post office, means where the postmaster lived. The postmaster was very sad, and he was always writing about the natures in free time, because there is no one who can interact with a postmaster, and postmaster also do not want to interact with other, because there is no one who can as literate as him. And Ratan was a girl who is very happy, but due to the nature of postmaster, he day by day is thinking that he is all of life, but he is everything for her. It means he's because he is orphan. She think that no one is in my family, no one has my what my no one is my there is no one in my life, but postmaster is come as my what dada means ma'am, oh, I guess I have not properly remembered that. I guess Dada, Ratan called the postmaster Dada. The postmaster started him to read, and day by day, the relation between Ratan and postmaster becoming the relation that they know them very well from a long time. But one day, the postmaster get ill, and at that time, Ratan was waiting to that the postmaster will come and he will teach him teach her some lesson. But the dada is not able to do something because he is ill, because he is not what not healthy at that time. Then Ratan suddenly goes in her room and saw that he was sleeping on the bed and saw that his body temperature was more than I guess one. He has facing the problem uh, that is related to fever. And Ratan was went somewhere to call doctor, and the doctor has came and checked the Dada postmaster, and the postmaster in 1 to 2 weeks postmaster become fit. But the postmaster had decided to leave that village, and at that time the Ratan think that the postmaster will take her with him, but the postmaster didn't do that. He has resigned, and he goes. He told Ratan that I can't take her with him because uh, the next postmaster who will come who will take care of your. That's why Ratan has not come. Sorry, postmaster has not taken her from that
Mm-hmm.
village, and finally he has left that village, and Ratan get very sad. And after 2 to 3 months, Ratan will get normal because she think that he can't return back to this village. That's all, ma'am.
All right. So that was Saurabh talking about his understanding about the postmaster. And yes, Sudhanshu. Hello. तुमने हैंड रेज किया था ना सुधांशु? Hello. You raised your hand, didn't you? Unmute yourself. Sudhanshu, you're not audible. Some problem with him. चलिए चंद्रभूषण. Please make your presentation. अनम्यूट करो अपने आप को पहले। आज पढ़ के आना था तुम लोगों को ना। निगम प्रकाश, ठीक है। सुधांशु इज गेटिंग 0 मार्क्स। चंद्रभूषण को भी 0 मिल रहा है बिकॉज ही नॉट सीइंग एनीथिंग। निगम प्रकाश, यस।
मैम क्लास नहीं किए हुए हैं, न्यू स्टूडेंट है।
आप न्यू स्टूडेंट हैं,
यस मैम।
ठीक है। ये रोल नंबर 56।
Hello,
यस
can you hear me now?
यस यस।
Presentation देना है postmaster पे.
That is what I said.
Okay.
Today you were supposed to come prepared for the test, no?
मैम आप बोलिए,
मैंने
हाँ,
अनाउंस
बोलिए
किया था लास्ट क्लास में ही।
आप बताएंगे, लेकिन मैम आपको कोई बात नहीं, हम पढ़े
बताएंगे।
हैं तो.
I
Yes,
said
ma'am.
कि I will take the test in the next class. ये होली के पहले से टेस्ट चल रहा था, you could not answer any question. तो फिर
Okay,
हमने
ma'am.
डेट अनाउंस किया था कि आफ्टर होली I will be taking a test.
Okay, ma'am. I remember the topic.
Okay, whatever you remember,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
tell us so that it can help others also.
And the story was written by Rabindranath Tagore.
Hmm.
The story name is Postmaster. There were two characters. There were two main characters, Ratan and the postmaster. The postmaster came from Kolkata, who were in rich family. He come to Olapur to serve as a postmaster there, because there was a British company. There was a British company who established a post office to communicate with that area to the outside, because there was a river between the city and the village. So they couldn't be able to communicate with the others outside the village. So the British government took decision to make a post office there in the Olapur. So the postmaster came. So the postmaster was appointed there. So he came. After he came, there was nothing more to do to him. Just write letters, read letters read letters for the villagers, because they were illiterate. They couldn't read and write the letters for the for uh, they couldn't write or read the letter. So the postmaster, so it was the postmaster's job to write or read the letter for them. So as the stories continue, there was nothing to do
Face
for
the
the
camera. Why are you looking sideways? Face the camera and speak.
Okay,
Why are you always with your face turned away?
that's it, ma'am.
Yeah, सामने देखो.
Okay.
Face the camera.
Is it okay? Is it okay?
Are you looking at me? You look at the face the
No,
camera.
ma'am. Actually, में मेरा स्क्रीन का आप आ ही नहीं रही हैं. हम ही आ रहे हैं बस. Yes, ma'am. मेरा ही mirroring हो रहा है. So it was the postmaster job to write or lead the letters for the villagers. So the story continues. There was nothing to do to postmaster. After the job he was done, he goes to the riverside to write letters, to write poems about the nature and how he felt loneliness living in the Olapur, because he wasn't able to communicate with the villager, because he was thinking he was too literate to communicate with the people. and he could not communicate with the villager because he thinks that I am not able to communicate with them because I am too literate.
First year.
So he felt awkward. So he wasn't able to communicate. But there was a girl whose name was Ratan. He was, I think, 11-year-old. So he was left by his mother. Mother. He has a little brother also, but her mother left him to the Olapur by some reason. Her reason तो नहीं पता. So
Reason नहीं पता है.
ma'am, her mother left her.
Yeah. She also had a brother,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
her father loved her very much.
Yeah.
And it is inferred that you can make out, you can understand that after her father's death, the mother left the house with a little brother.
Yeah.
Right.
So
In those days, people did not care much about the girl child. So
yeah.
Rabindranath Tagore here is also bringing out the evils of the society.
Yes,
Like,
ma'am.
so he is trying to bring out the evils by highlighting that how girl child was so much neglected. Like the brother was taken away by the mother, and the little girl was left alone when she was alone. That is why her father died. That is why she is an orphan. Had she had a father been alive, she would not have been an orphan. And it was mentioned by Rabindranath Tagore that her father loved her very much.
Yeah.
Her father loved her more. So इससे क्या समझ में आता है? We can infer a lot of things by just one line. That yes, her father loved her more. It means her mother also loved her, but her father loved her more. And after probably his death, the mother left Ratan, taking along with her, the brother.
Yeah. So he couldn't able to marry because he couldn't afford the dowry. That was also
No. ये कहाँ तुमने पढ़ लिया? This is all wrong.
मैम उसका शादी नहीं हो पा रहा था क्योंकि वो
नहीं, ये किसने आपने कब पढ़ लिया आपने इसको? ऐसा कोई तो मैंने तो एक लाइन पढ़ाया आपको कंटेंट में. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि मैरिज के बारे में तो कोई बात ही नहीं थी. The marriage is never mentioned in this. And he could not afford dowry. What is this like? ये कहाँ पढ़ लिया तुमने? कहाँ पढ़ लिया? जहां से भी पढ़ लिया गलत पढ़े हुए हो. और people who have attended the class, they will tell you. क्या सौरभ आप बताइए कोई ऐसी कोई बात थी क्या किताब में? शादी नहीं हो पा रही थी कि डाउरी नहीं अफोर्ड कर रहा था, ऐसा था क्या?
नो मैम, वैसा नहीं था.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. ये कहाँ से समझा है इसको? उसको जरा पूछते हैं.
मैम ये था, एक लाइन था ये मैम.
लेट अस डिस्कस.
मैम एक लाइन सही में था.
मैम एक लाइन था जहाँ पे वो दोनों बात कर रहे थे, पोस्टमैन और जो गर्ल थी. तो वहाँ पे रविन्द्रनाथ टैगोर जी कहते हैं कि उसका शादी भी नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि वो एक ऑर्फन गर्ल है, उसके पास डॉरी भी नहीं है.
ऐसा कुछ मेंशन है क्या? पूरी स्टोरी हमने तो इतनी बार आपको पढ़वाया है इसको.
मैम
इतनी बार जाने.
हाँ मैम.
मैम एक लाइन था तभी हम बोल रहे हैं कि ऐसे नहीं बोल रहे हैं.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Because Ratan was a very small girl. She was a child. How can you think about the marriage of somebody?
And those days में तो शादी तो 11-12 में ही हो जाता था.
नहीं तो इन्फर अगर आपने कर लिया है कि ऑर्फन है तो शादी कैसे होगी, उसको ले जाना चाहिए था. तो ये अपने मन से आप लगा सकते हैं, इन्फर करके, कुछ सोच करके कि ऐसा हो सकता है, ऐसा हो. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. ऐसा मैरिज वाज नेवर मेंशन्ड. लाइक शी कुड नॉट अफोर्ड डॉरी. ये अगर आपको ये लग रहा है कि मदर उस बेटी को छोड़ के चली गई है और बेटे को ले गई है बिकॉज शी इज वेरी पुअर, उसकी शादी नहीं कर पाएगी इसलिए वो छोड़ के चली गई, तो ये एक रीडर अपने मन से इन्फर करके बोल सकता है कि क्यों छोड़ के चली गई उसको. ठीक है, इन्फर कर सकते हैं आप. मे बी दिस हैपेंड, मे बी हर मदर लेफ्ट हर बिकॉज ये तो पूछा नहीं जा रहा है कि व्हाई डिड हर मदर लीव हर. इट इज वेरी सिंपल that Rabindranath Tagore was one writer who always took out the evils of the society and brought it forward. right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Chalo, continue.
So Ratan started living with the postmaster. She do.
Ratan was not living there. Ratan always lived there. She had no home to go and she had no family. But she was just a one village girl who was living nearby that building.
Ma'am, after coming the postmaster, ma'am.
After the
I was,
postmaster came,
yeah.
she was a
She
domestic
and
help.
the postmaster. Yes,
हाँ
yes, ma'am.
उसको
She
उसका
and
मदद उसको करती थी.
she and
She was
postmaster
doing
का.
all kinds of odd jobs. Odd jobs का मतलब क्या होता है?
Yes,
छोटे
ma'am.
मोटे
घर के
काम.
काम.
घर के
घर
छोटे
के.
मोटे काम. ऐसा नहीं कि
Yes, ma'am.
cooking करना ही करना नहीं. Because cooking was done by the postmaster himself. And वहां पर ये mention जरूर है कि his salary was not that great. He did
Yes,
not
ma'am.
have a high salary. It was a very low paid salary. Peanuts. Salary was peanuts. कम पैसे मिलते थे. So he could not afford to give her the her salary. But then he thought of giving her food.
Yeah.
So and then later he decided to why not start tutoring her. So उसको पढ़ाने लगे थे. He started teaching her. So this was done. The salary of the postmaster was low, of course, but he was from a very rich family.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I mentioned that, ma'am, in the starting.
Yeah, he was from a rich family from Kolkata, and the house which he lived in, and he always compared his house with the shabby little building he was living in, and the roads also, the buildings, the roads. So he did not like it there in the from the very beginning. He did not like Kolhapur because he was always comparing Kolkata with Kolhapur.
Yeah.
He missed his family members more. So altogether, he was, Rabindranath Tagore writes that he was like a fish without water. And he did not like a bit. And then there was nothing, there was no mode for entertainment. Like he could not entertain himself. And there was nothing to talk about. He did not have any topic to talk about to the villagers. Like he did not have the topic because they were illiterate. He did not know what topic should we talk about. So
Yes, ma'am.
he kept quiet. He
He
did not
also
speak to
compared the
them.
roads too.
Yeah,
Roads,
he compared the roads to Kolkata.
Yes, ma'am.
And he compared, he always wanted to be with his family members. And he felt lonely. So that was one part of it. So which also is included in the theme of the story, the loneliness and the companionship. So there was only one person who was giving him company, Ratan.
Yes,
So Ratan was one person who was always available over there. So in his free time, he had a lot of free time. So in his leisure time, what he did, he used to write some stories and poetry. That still there was a lot of time left. So what he used to do, he used to spend time with Ratan about asking
about her life,
asking about her life, sharing his
thoughts too. Yes, ma'am.
sharing about his family members, and so much so that she connected herself with the family, that she is also one in the family. So she started calling him Dada, which means elder brother,
Dada Babu.
and that is why she was so hurt. She was so much emotionally involved with the postmaster that when he left her, she wanted to go with him. And the reason why the postmaster did not take her, because there was no concept of adoption even in those times. And there was some social stigma. एक social stigma भी हो गया था. वो था कि एक young girl को 11-12-year-old को कहाँ ले जाएंगे? What will people say? And what will society? The society will not accept. The family will not accept because what will society say? So there was a lot of social
मैम
stigma.
अगर वो 12 साल की लड़की थी तो उसको ले जाने में क्या दिक्कत था? वो तो
तुम
उसके
समझ रहे हो ना
सामने
कि क्या
बच्ची
दिक्कत था?
होती।
हाँ, तुम ले जाते क्या अपने घर पे?
अगर
तुम्हारे
हाँ
फैमिली
वो हम समझ रहे हैं कि उस जमाने के हिसाब से
उस जमाने के
वो
हिसाब
लड़की
से या
और
इस
उसमें कोई
जमाने के भी
रिलेशन बना
हिसाब
के
से, इस जमाने के भी हिसाब से, you will have to answer people ना कि why you are bringing this girl here. So the there would not have been any social acceptance. The society would not have accepted. The family would not have accepted.
Yes, ma'am.
मैम वो लाइन मिल गया हमको।
हाँ
लाइन
तो
है
आप एक मिनट पहले आप कैमरा ऑन करिए रोहित,
मैम।
अब बोलना शुरू
फिर
कीजिए।
लाइन पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे, फिर वो
हाँ तो
पीडीएफ में
पढ़ो
लिखा
ना,
हुआ
फिर पढ़ो, तुम पढ़ो।
है। मैम इसको थोड़ा सा मिनिमाइज करें।
किसको मिनिमाइज करेंगे?
मैम वो जूम को आप मिनिमाइज करेगा तब वो कर पाएगा, वो बोल रहा है।
आप पढ़ो ना पहले रोहित। शेयर द स्क्रीन। Yes. Read now. This is the content I shared with you about.
Yes, ma'am, I think it is.
I shared it again. I reshared this content with you today. क्या तुम कुछ समझ में नहीं
पढ़ा ही
आएगी
नहीं।
क्या? पढ़ा ही नहीं, अभी तो पढ़ो। ये तुम वही दिखा रहे थे जो कंटेंट मेरा शेयर किया हुआ है तुम लोग का।
यस मैम।
हाँ तो वही करें, इन्फर करना सीखो। मत इन्फर मतलब कि लोग तरह तरह की बातें कर सकते हैं ना, कि तुम सोच सकते हो। जैसे why he was sad, why do you think he was like a fish without a water?
Because he
तो
couldn't
आप
able to reach to the people.
no
couldn't able to
first of all no, he was first of all he was very much lonely, so he wanted to be with his family members.
Yeah.
And even the living condition was not that good.
Yeah.
Living condition भी सही नहीं था, no proper roads, no proper houses, and most of all and most importantly in the rainy season what happened, he became sick.
Yeah.
माइक ऑफ था मैम।
क्या?
मैम हम पढ़े थे उस समय, जितना भी पढ़े वो नहीं आवाज गया, माइक ऑफ था।
अभी तुम पढ़ो फिर से।
सॉरी मैम।
पढ़ो ना क्या लिखा हुआ है।
वेट मिनट।
हाँ पढ़ो पढ़ो पढ़ो।
मैम यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है
एनालाइज
सेकंड लाइन
करने
में।
के लिए कहा जाता है ना, कि एनालाइज द स्टोरी।
यस
तो
मैम।
उसमें आप एनालिसिस में आप कुछ भी लिख सकते हैं।
यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि टैगोर anonymously narrated notes that it is unlikely that she will get married, suggesting that her future is bleak. She is lower class, lack of family, and cannot marry out of
हाँ
her
तो
poverty.
दिस इज नॉट इन द स्टोरी, दिस इज द एनालिसिस। पीपल आर थिंकिंग व्हाई ही रोट द स्टोरी। और दूसरी बात ये है, स्टॉप शेयरिंग, मैं और एक बात बताती हूँ।
ये पोस्ट मास्टर के कैरेक्टर में दिखाया गया है।
हाँ उनके कैरेक्टर में मैंने पहले ही बताया था कि पोस्ट मास्टर का जो कैरेक्टर है, तो बहुत हद तक जब भी रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर कुछ लिखते हैं ना, तो थोड़ा थोड़ा अपने बारे में भी वो डाल देते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल ही क्रिएटेड हिमसेल्फ, ही पुट इन समथिंग ऑफ हिज क्रिएटिविटी, कि वो खाली समय में बैठ के वो पोइट्री लिखा करते थे या नेचर के बहुत करीब रहा करते थे। दिस वॉज वेरी मच अ पार्ट ऑफ रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर। ऑल हिज लाइफ ही वॉज राइटिंग आइदर प्लेज, स्टोरीज, पोइट्रीज लिखा करते थे, वो खुद लिखा करते थे। दूसरी बात, एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात जो अडॉप्शन के बारे में हम बात यहाँ पर कर रहे हैं। अडॉप्शन के बारे में यहाँ पर एक बात ये है, यहाँ पर आती है कि रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर वाज मैरिड ऑलरेडी, ही वाज मैरिड बट ही हैड चिल्ड्रन, बट कुछ सर्वाइवल किसी का भी नहीं हो पाया था।
Yes, ma'am. But I think
हाँ
कोई भी children
मैंने
उनके
कहा
नहीं
था
थे।
कि वो एक ये बात भी थी कि अडॉप्शन उस वक्त भी नहीं था। अभी भी अडॉप्शन को बहुत लोग अच्छी नजर से नहीं देखते हैं। तो अडॉप्शन मना थी या बिल्कुल एक्सेप्ट नहीं लोग करते थे। शायद ये भी था कि अडॉप्टिंग अ गर्ल चाइल्ड और अडॉप्टिंग अ चाइल्ड, he so much wanted, that is why he created Ratan. He created the postmaster and put inside the postmaster something of his character. Maybe the character, the pain of being childless. There were children were born to them, but then none of the children survived. और गोद लेने की बात उस वक्त भी नहीं थी. So that is why, with one thing in his mind, he created Ratan, and then he created a lot of things. He put in his own pain inside it, his own suffering of being alone, of being without a child. और ये उन्होंने एक ऑर्फन क्रिएट किया, लेकिन ऑर्फन क्रिएट करके छोड़ा नहीं उसको भी एक अंजाम लगाया कि एक न्यू जो पोस्टमैन आएगा, he will take care of you. He tried to put in his kindness when the postmaster was leaving Olapur. तो वो अपनी पूरी सैलरी उसके हाथ पे रख रहा था. This shows how much he was concerned for this little girl. वो लड़की लेती नहीं है उसको. She did not want. यहाँ पर उन्होंने दिखाया हेल्पलेसनेस एक चाइल्ड का, कि एक बच्चे को क्या चाहिए. The child did not want anything else. उसको तो सिर्फ चाहिए था
caring,
the love and care of a family, right? Yes. So both the yearnings, both the wanting, both the desires were the same. So ये सब कुछ जानते हुए कि फ्यूचर उसका ब्लीक है, उसका रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर के कैरेक्टर के बारे में लिखा गया. And in every story, in each story which you want to, if you read the postmaster or any other story or any poetry which you may read about Rabindranath Tagore, he always puts in something of in his characters. That is why these stories have become masterpiece. So this is no ordinary story. It sketches out the life of Rabindranath Tagore.
मैम इसलिए तो ग्रेजुएशन में पढ़ रहे हैं इसको.
Oh yes. And literature always compels you to think about, to think. Communication skill तो अच्छी होती ही है लिटरेचर पढ़ने से. हम लोग कहते हैं ना कि इंग्लिश इंप्रूव कैसे हो. इंग्लिश इंप्रूव करने का एक ही तरीका है, पढ़िए, स्टोरी बुक्स पढ़िए, न्यूज़पेपर पढ़िए, लेकिन पढ़िए, रीड बुक्स, रीड समथिंग इन इंग्लिश, देन यू विल नो. जिसमें जो एक लाइन जो लिखा हुआ है, फ्यूचर इज ब्लीक. ब्लीक का मतलब क्या होता है? डार्क,
अंधेरा, जहाँ पे कुछ नहीं दिखता हो.
कुछ नहीं दिखता हो. तो he created Ratan. He created Ratan. Maybe he was thinking about his children who were dead. Their future is dead. So there is no future when the child dies, everything is finished. The helplessness of that soul. So a writer includes a lot of things. He creates something which he writes, something which you have to think. जैसे हमने कहा कि उसके फादर, एक लाइन था, her father loved her more. इसका मतलब क्या था? इसका मतलब सिर्फ ये था कि हाँ, पेरेंट्स, मदर एंड फादर में, मदर के बारे में कोई जिक्र नहीं है. एनी कनेक्शन ऑफ रतन एंड मदर नहीं था. father loved her more. It means उसमें कहीं लिखा हुआ नहीं है कि his father died.
Yes, ma'am.
इसमें कहीं लिखा, you have to infer. इस समझ में आता है कि after her father died, वो orphan हो गई ना. Because he loved her so much, he would not have left her. वो कभी छोड़ के जाता ही नहीं उसको. But then it is quite clear that is when she became an orphan after her father's death.
मैम तो जो लाइन लिखा हुआ था कि वो एक ऑर्फन गर्ल है, 12 इयर्स की है और उसके पास डाउरी नहीं है, इसका मतलब कि बिना दहेज का तो कोई उस समय शादी नहीं करता था और उस समय बाल विवाह बहुत ही कॉमन था.
हाँ, तो तुमको लग रहा है कि इसको कैरेक्टर क्रिएट किया गया है, तो पोस्टमास्टर को लेके आ जाना चाहिए.
नहीं, कैरेक्टर के लिए नहीं, वो जो श्रीकांत पढ़ रहे थे उनके बाद वो सही बोल रहे थे. मतलब
वो देखिए, एनालाइज करने के लिए कुछ एनालाइज करता है, कैरेक्टराइजेशन जो करते हैं. और आपको भी कहा जाता है कि स्केच द कैरेक्टर ऑफ द पोस्टमास्टर. तो आप भी जो सोच रहे हैं, समझ रहे हैं, और जो आपको समझ में आ रहा है वो आपको लिखना पड़ता है. एनालाइज द कैरेक्टर. उसमें बहुत कुछ आपको लिखना पड़ेगा, जो आपने सोचा, जो आपने देखा, जो आपने समझा. What is your story or what is your version of the story? ठीक है.
मैम एग्जामिनर को अगर मेरा स्टोरी पसंद नहीं आएगा तो?
आपका तो ओनली MCQ आने वाला एग्जाम.
अच्छा हाँ बोलिए.
हाँ. और तुम जो प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे थे, तो आई थॉट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द पोस्ट मास्टर्स शादी, क्योंकि उसकी शादी का तो कोई जिक्र ही कहीं नहीं है. हाउ कैन यू से दिस?
नो मैम, एक्चुअली में आप बताए हमको, कंफर्म था कि आप बताए थे क्लास में. एक्चुअली में हमको ये नहीं पता था कि वो एनालिसिस पार्ट का था, बट आई रिमेम्बर दैट यू वर लाइन था कहीं ना कहीं, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई.
या चलिए, एनीबॉडी एल्स? इट इज गुड टू डिस्कस थिंग्स आउट. एनीबॉडी एल्स? आज आप लोग को पढ़ के आना था ना, अगर एग्जाम दे लेते तो. हर्ष सिन्हा, आप कुछ बताइए. लेट अस कम इनटू अ डिस्कशन. What kind of a person was the postmaster? Unmute yourself first.
The postmaster is written by Jawaharlal Nehru.
जवाहरलाल नेहरू. क्या हर्ष, तुम भी इतनी बार, अभी इतना डिस्कशन हुआ है.
Sorry. The postmaster is written by Rabindranath Tagore.
Yeah. Unmute.
The postmaster earned his first job in Olapur.
अच्छा तुम बताओ कि वो जब वो बीमार पड़ गया, when he became sick, what all happened when he became sick?
मैम
And how did Ratan help him?
मैम जब वो बीमार पड़ गए तो अपने फैमिली को बहुत मिस कर रहे थे.
Why don't you speak English? English में बोलो, कोशिश करो.
मैम whenever the postmaster is in, क्या बोल, he became miss the family.
तुम कुछ बता रहे थे, बताओ अपने अपनी जो तुम जो तैयारी की है, जो बताओ उसको.
मैंने जब पोस्टमास्टर बीमार पड़े तो अपने फैमिली को बहुत मिस कर रहे थे.
तो कंटेंट दिए ना, उसको पढ़ा करो थोड़ा, ठीक है. और जितने लोग हैं कैमरा ऑफ किए हुए हैं, तो दे आर नॉट इन माय क्लास. आपको सब एब्सेंट मार्क कर देंगे, हम उनको वार्न कर रहे हैं आपको. ये था ना आपको जो कंटेंट शेयर किया हुआ.
Yes, ma'am.
This was the content. About the author भी समझ लीजिएगा. Somebody please read this. A brief biography of Rabindranath Tagore. This is the same content which I shared with you. Somebody read this.
Rabindranath Tagore was born in Calcutta on May 7, 1861, and died in Calcutta on August 7, 1941. Was a renowned Bengali writer and a stalwart of art and culture.
What do you mean by stalwart? स्टॉलवर्ट का मतलब क्या होता है? पढ़ के आगे बढ़ गए, ये वहां रुक जाना चाहिए था आपको. Somebody tell me the meaning of stalwart. Hmm? It means stalwart का मतलब होता है somebody who is a supporter, organization of a team. Stalwart of a company means the main person, the pillar of the company. Stalwart of art and culture. He was a supporter of art and culture. Supporter, the pillar. Yes, read.
Born into a wealthy, educated family, active in the Bengali literary scene, Tagore is best known for his 1910 collection of poems entitled Gitanjali, meaning song offering, for which he received the best, for which he received the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Hmm.
Tagore was educated both in India and England in Kolkata, East Sussex, and at University College London, and was seen by many in the literary modernist movement as an artist capable of bridging the gap between British and Bengal literary tradition. Yet Tagore, often called the Bard or the Shakespeare of Bengal, was also openly critical of the British Raj or British colonial rule in India. Tagore firmly, firmly
Firmly मतलब अपोज करते थे, बहुत विरुद्ध थे ब्रिटिश इंपेरियलिज्म. उस वक्त इंडिया ब्रिटिश रूल में था ना, ब्रिटिश इंपेरियलिज्म को बिल्कुल अगेंस्ट अपोज करते थे वो.
Tagore firmly opposed British imperialism and he declined the British government offer of knighthood in 1919 after the Jallianwala Bagh
जालियांवाला बाग के बाद उनको प्राइज मिला था, नाइटहुड का अवार्ड मिला था, जो कि उन्होंने डिक्लाइन कर दिया था कि मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए.
मैम मास्कियर
मैसेकर का मतलब होता है जलियांवाला बाग में क्या हुआ था. मैसेकर का मतलब कि बहुत लोगों को जान गई थी. अब जानते हैं ना जलियांवाला बाग में क्या हुआ था? नहीं जानते?
जानते हैं.
मैसेकर मतलब किलिंग.
in which British troops in India fired on peaceful protesters. Tagore is celebrated today for his insightful lyrical poetry as well as for his prolific work.
प्रोलिफिक मतलब कि बहुत पिक्चर खींच देता, इमेज सामने आ जाती है, इतना बढ़िया उनका लिखा होता है, इतना इलस्ट्रेस लिखा रहता है, एक तस्वीर सामने खींच जाती है.
Prolific work in the other genres, essays, short stories, play, lectures, drawing, and paintings.
तो अपने आप में उनको कहा जाता है टैगोर इंस्टीट्यूशन ही थे. ड्राइंग, पेंटिंग, स्केचिंग, पोइट्री, ड्रामा, सिंगिंग, सॉन्ग्स लिखना, रविंद्र संगीत, द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ शांति निकेतन. तो वो अपने आप में एक इंस्टीट्यूशन थे. और आर्ट एंड कल्चर, अगर आर्ट एंड कल्चर का नाम आता है तो सबसे पहले दिमाग में आता है रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर के बारे में. Yeah. Yes, read.
The postmaster summary. The postmaster is set in the humble village of Ulapur, Bengal during the 19th century under the rule of the British Raj. The British owner of an indigo dye factory in Ullaipur has convinced the imperial government to open a post office in the village, and a man from Calcutta is contracted to become the postmaster. He moves to Ullaipur and works in a hut that serves a rudimentary post office, but he finds that he is unable to fit in with the other men in the town, who are less educated than him and have little time to socialize because of their work at the factory. The postmaster, though, has not much work to complete, and he spends his time attempting to write poems about his natural surroundings.
तो इस पैराग्राफ का मतलब क्या हुआ? ये पोस्ट मास्टर की जो कहानी है कहाँ सेटअप किया हुआ है? कोल्हापुर के हम्बल विलेज, छोटे से विलेज में, जहां पर 19th सेंचुरी में ब्रिटिश राज के वक्त द ब्रिटिश ओनर ऑफ द इंडिगो डाई फैक्ट्री एक है, जहां पर कन्विंस किया है इंपीरियल गवर्नमेंट को टू ओपन अ पोस्ट ऑफिस इन द विलेज टू हेल्प पीपल who cannot read or write, उनके लिए लेटर लिखना और उनके लिए उनकी लेटर्स को पढ़ना. And a person is called from Kolkata, a man from Kolkata is contractual basis पे इनका job था. He was contracted to become the postmaster, and this person, he is the postmaster who moves to Ullaipur. Ullaipur चले आते हैं और works in a hut that serves as a rudimentary post office. और एक जहां उनको रहने की जगह मिली है वो एक हट की तरह है, और ऑफिस भी वहीं पर है, ऑफिस भी वही है और उनका घर भी वहीं पर. बट ही फील दैट ही इज अनेबल टू फिट इन विद अदर मैन. उनको लगा कि मैं यहाँ पर एक अजनबी की तरह हूँ, जहां वो फिट नहीं कर पा रहे, बिकॉज एवरीबडी इज अनएजुकेटेड, एंड उनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि वो क्या करें. They are less educated, and he does not have much to do. कुछ काम ज्यादा उनके पास था नहीं. The postmaster, though, has not much work to complete. इसका मतलब ये था कि बहुत ज्यादा काम उनके पास था नहीं, और he spends his time attempting to write poems about his natural surroundings. और natural surrounding मतलब पेड़ पौधे बादल जो दिखता है नेचर के बारे में. So he sits and writes stories and poetries about the nature.
Despite his small salary, the postmaster asked an orphaned
What is
village
the
girl.
meaning of despite?
बहुत
कम होता है. Despite मतलब मैम opposite.
No.
अलावा मैम, अलावा
मैम के बावजूद भी.
बावजूद.
अलावा.
हाँ मैम बावजूद.
बावजूद इसके कि उसकी सैलरी कम थी. The postmaster asked an orphaned village girl Ratan to complete housework for him,
for which
she
receives
receives some of his food. मतलब he is not, the postmaster does not pay her any salary, but then he offers some food to her.
Yes, ma'am. Ratan is 12 or 13, improvised and unlikely to get married.
What is the meaning of impoverished? जितने वर्ड्स हैं आपके पास, कई दिन से ये कंटेंट है, हमेशा से है. आपने मीनिंग क्यों नहीं जाना अभी तक?
पता नहीं क्यों.
अभी हमको पूछना पड़ रहा है, जवाब नहीं पड़ रहा.
Impoverished मतलब गरीब.
हाँ, गरीब, पुअर, डिप्राइव्ड ऑफ वेल्थ, इसके पास कुछ है नहीं. Yes, read.
Likely because he lacks a dowry. Nonetheless, the postmaster's loneliness led him to strike up a conversation with Ratan. Even though her class status is distinct from his, the two recount stories from their childhood and they become close, talking late into the night. Ratan begins to think
इसका
of
मतलब
the
क्या होता है?
postmaster's.
Okay.
मैम इसका मतलब कि वो रतन जो है 12 या 13 साल की लड़की है.
समरी देखिए, समरी जो लिखा जाता है ना, अगर आप भी समरी लिखेंगे तो यू विल कुछ सोच समझ करके अपने से भी कुछ डाल देंगे. ठीक है.
Yes, ma'am.
बट ओरिजिनल स्टोरी में ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है कि लाइकली टू गेट मैरिड और लाइकली टू,
वो हम स्टोरी पढ़ने के बाद कंक्लूजन जो निकाले वो भी इसमें ऐड
हाँ
करता
हाँ
जाएगा।
हाँ हाँ, समरी में। तो यहाँ रतन के बारे में बात हो रही है। रतन इज एन ऑर्फन, अब पुअर तो होगी बिकॉज शी इज एन ऑर्फन, और एंड अनलाइकली टू गेट मैरिड। Unlikely to get married because she is poor, she will not get married because she does not have any dowry. ये राइटर्स जो समरी लिख रहे हैं वो अपने मन से इन्फर करके लिखते हैं, ठीक है। Unlikely because she lacks a dowry. Nonetheless, the postmaster's loneliness leads him to strike up a conversation with Ratan. हाँ, यहाँ से the story में आ जाता है. In his free time, either he was sitting and writing poetry or he was talking to Ratan. वो काम करते थे, पहली बात तो ये। दूसरी बात वो he does not talk with the villagers, उनके लिए काम कर रहे थे वो। And secondly, in his free time he was writing poetries in the field, natural surroundings के बारे में, about nature. And thirdly, he used to spend his time with his only companion, who was Ratan. And Ratan was a good companion because she was a very good listener, and she was attentive and listening. And later, the postmaster thinks of teaching her. Yes.
Ratan begins to think of the postmaster's family as her own, but the postmaster continued too long for a close companion to abate his loneliness, seeing Ratan as a mere stand-in for the romantic partner he desired.
Okay. He was thinking about his home, his family, he was thinking about his home life. And the two of them, दोनों एक दूसरे के बारे में एक दूसरे को अपनी कहानी सुनाया करते थे from their childhood, and they become close, talking late into the night, और देर रात तक वो बातें करते रहते थे. So much so that sometimes they did not even cook, and they used to eat whatever was left. सुबह में जो भी बनाया है और whatever was left उसी को लोग खा लिया करते थे. So this was one thing. The second theme of the story is companionship. How? Because the postmaster had only one person as a companion, and she was Ratan. And she was all through in the story. At every stage, Ratan is there. The picture of Ratan is all the time there in the story. The postmaster continues to long का मतलब होता है strong desire. But the postmaster continues, whatever the companion is. Okay, Ratan was there as a companion, but he was looking for a close companion to finish his loneliness, and seeing Ratan as a mere stand-in for the romantic partner he desires. और वो उसके लिए Ratan was not fit, but वो एक stand-in है. चलो ठीक है, कोई नहीं है तो Ratan है. For the romantic partner he desires. He was, as a young man, he desired for a romantic partner, which again is not in the story, but you can infer that yes, he might be imagining, because all the time people are saying that people are seeing this, that he is lonely, that he is missing his family, and we do not know. Maybe he must have had some emotional attachment with somebody. We do not know. But yes, we can imagine and we can think about it, because if you are asked in literature, you can write whatever comes in your mind. कि आपके नजर में क्या है? What are you thinking about the story? So when I tell you to write the summary of the postmaster, you can, of course, you can very well write what you think about it, how you have taken this story into account. ठीक है?
मैम तो ये जो लिखी है,
हाँ, तो ये आप भी लिख सकते हैं ना. आपने क्या समझा उसके अनुसार आप लिख सकते हैं. आपने क्या समझा? Because when the writer writes something, he writes, आप understand करते हैं. And you also understand something which he has not written. You have to read between the lines to think what is happening. This is literature. एक चीज तो एक लाइन लिखा समझ गए, जो नहीं लिखा हुआ वो आपको समझना होता है. This is called inferring. So people when write summaries, they infer कि ऐसा हो सकता है. अब वर्ड है ना likely to, मतलब हो सकता है कि ऐसा हुआ होगा. ठीक है.
Ma'am, is it your analysis?
Partly, yes. You can infer because I have to make literature very simple. और इसलिए भी हम बनाते हैं ताकि जब हम पढ़ रहे होते हैं, I want you to also do the same thing. आपको क्या लगता है कि वो ऐसा क्यों है? जब आप क्वेश्चंस आता है, analyze the character of the postmaster. So you will be analyzing on the basis of what is your understanding. The examiner is trying to check what have you understood and how you have analyzed, right? कि तो जो लिखा है उसको थोड़ी रिप्रोड्यूस कर देना है, उसमें अपना भी डालना है कि what you think about it, why he did this, just as I said, why he created Ratan at all. The simple reason, if you know Rabindranath Tagore, if you have read him, you will know why he created this, and why he created an orphan, and why he did not take her along because of social stigma. He could not have taken the little girl with this feeling that with this unacceptability. He knew very well that the little child, the young girl, will not be acceptable. Even had she been 5 or 6 years old, even then they would have not have accepted her. But taking home 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old girl, people would have talked about it. Okay, we'll read and discuss in the revision part where you can understand a lot of things which maybe you have not understood. So we'll continue with this. That's it for today.